Delco Nerd Network Hot Takes. What's a hot take, you may ask? Well, it's where we sit down in a basement with a few friends and we talk about a game, a TV show, or a movie. In this case, it's a movie, and that movie is Star Wars The Last Jedi. Here to discuss. I'm Anthony Ragucci. We got Tim Appleby. We got Chris Trio, and the Delco Star Wars expert, Ian Fitzgerald. You may have seen
That's what you're known as now. We're just going to spread it everywhere. No. But we like to have you on, as everyone knows who watch for the Star Wars, because you know what you're talking about. So... And I'd like to think I kind of
thanks for filling a void.
Yeah, you need that. Like you have that. Like you have a spot. There's not many other people that we call for like certain things.
Yeah. Actually, that is a very on point statement. There's no one we are like specifically. It's like that topic. Like we have to get him on.
Yeah, it's like an episode of like Pawn Stars.
That's good. Exactly. It all comes full circle.
It's like an episode of Pawn Stars when they call in the expert. It's like let's phone Ian in. I think you know what was funny when we. We're so off topic, but when we were doing the game awards podcast, and I noticed I was like, if FIFA is on like the best racing / sport game because they combine those topics, I'm gonna call Ian straight up and like get his like hot take on FIFA, and it wasn't on there, and I was like, oh damn, I can't do that.
Can't even do it.
I want to do that one day. But anyway, Star Wars: The Last Jedi. So let's start out. Let's just give our like
non-spoiler thoughts,
opinion of the movie, like a base like. If
did we like it? Did we not?
Yeah.
That. Do
you want to start, Ian?
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna go with a solid movie.
Okay.
And going into this movie, I was worried because didn't know if we were gonna have another Empire Strikes Back on our hand, where they
like
just
a
played
clone,
it safe,
yeah,
and they just continued it. While there definitely were aspects in the film that you could like correlate with Empire Strikes Back, I thought it was different enough where you can't make that.
It's not like one for one.
Yeah,
totally. I agree with that.
Yeah, for me, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. I definitely have some gripes, like with any movie, but I think it's a good Star Wars movie. Just baseline cinematography, I think this is the best shot Star Wars movie. Like, there's so many amazing. Just like poster-worthy shots.
There
in
are
my
some
opinion.
Cool shots. Yeah, I agree with
that. I really like the movie. I'll get into more specific stuff when we go into spoilers.
Gooch. I really love the movie, and I really hated the movie. There's a lot of aspects that I really enjoyed.
Okay.
And then there's a lot of things that I really don't. And it really falls into this weird, like, mid-range where, like, I don't know, it's really going to be time. Time's going to tell whether we like this movie.
Yeah, I've only seen the
because, like, me and Ian were talking about Force Awakens, and, like, you said, like, at the end of the day, you didn't think it was, like, as good as we thought when we came out of the theater.
I loved it when I got out of the theater.
We all did, I think.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
It was just the Star Wars hype at the time.
Yeah,
but we hadn't had a Star Wars movie in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, I think some parts were very Disney-ified, if that makes any sense.
In this film?
Yes.
Yeah, I
very.
Feel that
absolutely.
I think I know what you're gonna.
And very a lot of Marvel-esque things that I'm like, this is getting weird.
I'm assuming you're saying like the comedy aspects.
Yeah, actually. Yes.
See, but like I don't think that's fair to say that it's like a Marvel thing. There's like.
But that's a Marvel trope, and they're owned by Disney, and you can. That works
totally.
For
you can.
them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
It could be the same theme to grab younger audiences' attention, and in both series of films, you know, like with Marvel films and Star Wars, that could just be their type of. This is how we want to get kids to like this as well.
Yeah. So that's all I'll say.
So overall, like I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. It just wasn't what I wanted, and they made that clear in the first like 3 minutes of the movie. Like it went. To be honest, when I left, I felt like I just finished an episode of like Game of Thrones or something. Like it didn't feel like enough happened that it was a Star Wars movie.
I agree.
Okay.
Like,
I agree.
In a way, I think it was a lot of Empire Strikes Back like that, where it was really just we just gotta fill in something to happen, and like a lot of the I don't know, I won't give too much away, but it just didn't feel like it went as far as it could have. Like I was expecting a lot more.
Yeah.
There was one aspect I loved, and I thought they did really, really well, and that was what I was expecting. But the rest, like, it kind of fell short. And I have to disagree with you, Chris. I thought the cinematography was one of the worst.
I agree with that as well.
Yeah, it was.
Certain shots.
There are certain like key moments that I think everyone could pick up on.
Jason and Jacob Prince call them the toy shots, right? The shots that they would sell toys with. That's what they had.
Since you brought it up, we won't talk about it just yet, like spoiler wise, but the last scene is a fucking commercial for a toy.
It might as well have been.
It might as well have been.
But yeah, I think it was solid.
We'll get into it.
Okay.
Solid. I think you should definitely check it out. I mean, but I think don't just go into it with a completely open mind. Honestly, if you could, I would say forget the last thing that happened in The Force Awakens, because if you go in thinking like, living up with all of that pent up hype, like, the end of The Force Awakens, how it ends.
It is, yeah.
It's
a
like
cliffhanger.
pinnacle moment in Star Wars, and then they get to that point, and I'm not going to spoil it, but just don't expect anything. Like, just don't expect anything. Like literally.
I feel like that's a good way to go into most things, because like it's Star Wars. The hype's like fucking up here, and there's nothing you can do about it.
First thing I want to say is I love that we have such a range of how we feel about this movie right now.
Yeah, this is the first time I think like we're not all like yep, we all love it. Yep.
It's cool, and I really kind of like that everyone is discussing everything so much. Like, I guess I'm seeing a lot of the things like I'm reading stuff online about how certain people feel about certain scenes, and I'm like, man, I just read that a totally different way. And I guess that really just comes down to, like you said, what you're expecting out of a Star Wars movie and stuff like that. So I'm very interested to like really get into the actual nitty gritty of what happens. So I think basically we're all saying go see it, I assume.
Absolutely. It's a Star
still
Wars
very
film.
much a Star Wars movie.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
right,
so
cool.
so let's get into it. I guess whoever.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
So
So where did we want to start? We just start first, like.
I'd say.
Do we want to just go right into spoilers, or is there anything else we can talk about?
That's what I'm thinking. That's like not.
I think we get
overall acting, stuff like that.
I don't know. I feel like I don't want to.
What roles did you like?
I gotta be honest. I thought script writing at times was poor.
Terrible.
Very poor.
Absolutely.
Well, this is what I actually wanted to start with.
Okay, so let's start. Great jumping off point. The beginning, between Hux and Poe. That joke, that writing was trash. It was a very Marvel-esque joke.
It was like, here's the line, don't you dare cross it. Like
they fucking crossed it.
And they crossed it maybe by an inch, but it was like, what are you doing? Please. Yeah. Like, and it was early in the movie,
it dragged.
which was scary.
That joke dragged.
It dragged, and it was like, oh, please.
Nobody laughed in my theater. Nobody laughed.
There
was maybe a chunk.
That was the conversation over the radio, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. When he's like, oh, and Hux, you there? Like, I'm just like, really.
I took that as more of, this is not going to be a movie that you're expecting, and just don't think about what's coming. I actually thought that was funny, and I enjoyed it. Because, I mean, think back to The Force Awakens when Poe had the first introduction with
that's what it
Kylo
reminded
Ren.
me of, and I remember when that happened, it threw me.
It was very Poe to do that, but I think they could have done it better.
Like,
I really liked Dom Hall's whole, like, because he's so he's like, we're gonna destroy you, blah, blah, blah. I liked how he sold it. But he was we're gonna get you, that he's not even thinking about,
was super
what
serious,
he's saying.
And then Poe was just, like, super not, and they just
But that's Poe's character, though.
I know, but it didn't feel well. Maybe it was because it was dragged on.
Delivery. I think it might have just been, it was early in the script, and it was just, like, the way it was delivered.
It's literally, like, the first few
lines. To your
lines.
point, like, I think, and I was doing some, like, digging in before the movie came out, right? And, listening to some of the interviews about the cast, and Mark Hamill specifically, like, came forward and said he was not happy with the direction that the script was going.
Yeah.
And I think that you could feel it in, like, the way he delivered his lines, that he wasn't feeling this script. Like, he wasn't into this. This was not his character. And I to be honest, like, I can see why. Like, I don't know if we want to jump right into spoiler territory yet.
I think we're
there.
on spoilers.
We're on spoilers.
Like the first scene, the lightsaber.
Oh, that
right.
I was like, really?
I was like, wow, this is it. Like, this is what I've been waiting for. Like, the final scene, the island, this epic moment,
and he
like,
tosses,
the master teaching, like, the new student, like, it's just,
and he
was
tosses the lightsaber behind him. I expected, like, maybe they could have done it different. Like, he just drops it and walks away.
It's the way he tossed it.
Yeah,
for
it was so
effect,
aggressive,
which was like, yeah, I've been waiting a while for this.
And you fucking throw
and
your
like,
dad's lightsaber?
It wasn't even comedy. It was like...
Nobody laughed in my theater.
I don't think that was meant to be comedy.
I think it kind of was.
He has... The way they set... He goes on throughout the whole scenes on the island and everything. He is so done with all this. He doesn't care. That just shows you how much he doesn't give a fuck.
But the way Gooch said, the way he did it.
He just was like, fuck it.
You can drop it, you can get rid of it.
Yeah, he could have just...
the way he threw it over his shoulder.
And it was not... Yeah, like, they could have made it a better moment. Like, if they wanted to really emphasize how done he was with the Jedi, maybe they did a little bit of cinematography where they zoomed out and, like, he really, like, angrily throws the lightsaber, like, and made it, like, a real scene where he, like, visibly got angry or something, like he was upset. Whatever, like build up of the emotion that the audience had,
or
right?
or maybe he could have.
But it was just like so nonchalant and like.
Yeah, maybe he could have looked at it and like.
Yeah, like
he would have like a look on his face and he looked up at Rey and he would have let it just roll out of his hand.
That's why I think it was a bit of a comedy attempt.
Exactly,
because he didn't take time with it or anything. He threw
it was nothing, and it's a huge.
It's trying to get a joke. I really feel like that was meant to get a joke out of people. People in my theater laughed. Not many. But there was
maybe laughed and like, wow, this was what like the hype was about. Like this. Scene,
so what would you guys have want? So you want him? You just want a more expansive shot of him just thinking about the lightsaber more? Because I think with the way he says later in the movie, we're talking in the spoilers here, like we said, he came to that island to die. He doesn't give a fuck. He literally like he sees it for a sec. He thinks about it.
Doesn't give a fuck. I wouldn't say he doesn't care.
Or I just think doesn't, but. And I don't know where I saw the thing with or where you saw this thing with.
I heard that.
I saw
a YouTube video.
I saw stuff he was saying he thought this was a different and unexpected way to take Luke, but he thought it was a cool thing.
I think I know what you're talking about with him and Kylo Ren. Like
possibly
that stuff. I don't know if we want to jump right to there, but like I really like that.
No, yeah,
I think the movie definitely picked up as it went.
So, the first act,
you can tell it wasn't even just the writing and the even the cinematography, but just like the acting itself. They really started to finally click in.
Yeah, totally. I agree with that 100%. And there's some storylines that really don't jive with me, and some things that I was just like I actually rolled my eyes at. But there's other, and that's the thing. You're right, Gooch. There's so many highs and so many lows. The other highs are I'm like, I really like this.
But
and I guess I'm reading Luke in such a different way. In that moment, I didn't hate, but I guess I totally see what you're saying. Where he could have just been like more, like let's dwell on this a little bit more and think about it and have it more of an emotional impact.
Yeah, just put a little more care into the scene. But like going back to what Tim said, like I think the first act was pretty shitty, like the worst. The first half of the second act was shitty too, and then it really picks up after that. Yeah. That's really what I think.
It's another movie that's too long in the tooth. I really. Think
I don't think
they could have cut some storylines out completely, and I would have been like, "That's."
But it doesn't drag.
Once we get there.
But it doesn't drag at the end. It drags in the first 20 minutes.
Yeah. He's one so yeah.
Yeah.
It drags. It really.
You're
especially
like
coming. I think it's just the momentum that the Force Awakens had. The momentum like we got into this film with. I just wasn't expecting it to just be so slow. Mm-hmm. Like it just kind of comes to a screeching halt for a little while, and like nothing.
No, that's like
if you really think about
in the whole
what
movie,
happens,
nothing
in the whole
happens.
Movie, it's compared to like the other Star Wars films, relatively nothing happens.
I was told. I read a review actually, like that didn't like the movie of some. I don't know.
Some
it was. And they were like, I personally felt that if I just was given a little less than a minute before episode 9 comes out to give somebody a recap, they would be good. And that's all they would need. Because nothing large enough happens in this movie for like, it was like filler. It's like,
but
a lot of
what
filler.
couldn't you I was watching all the original trilogy today, actually, just because they're running it all week.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, I'm watching Empire Strikes Back, I'm watching A New Hope, and they're great. I do love them. But I don't know that nearly as... How much happens in, like, A New Hope? So they blow up the Death Star, obviously that's a gigantic thing. And
a lot of plot
characters set up, there's
a shit ton of
so many
different settings.
You have to
and,
save
things
Leia out of the...
Hey man, it's not the same ship going the same direction the entire movie.
I will agree. I'm not saying all of it's 100% strong, but I think it's the same thing is true for the other movies. There are parts where I think it drags.
And lore-wise, that the shield? What the fuck was that?
What shield?
Well,
How is that shield taking those blasts?
Because it's supposed to be so far away. But no, I get like...
Yeah, there's an inconsistency.
Going back to The Force Awakens, that they have to have like an area of where what is logical in this fake world, like, and it just never, the bar just kept moving of like, oh, they can do this, but they can't do this, but they can do this, and you're like,
oh, but they can't do
so
this.
can we find a medium line? And by that, with the shields and stuff, in Force Awakens, he steals a TIE fighter and takes out all of these turrets, like, by himself in one TIE fighter.
You're talking about Finn.
No, it's
in the beginning.
Well, it's Poe and Finn.
Oh yeah, Poe and Finn. Yeah,
but they're taking out all the turrets and stuff. And
like it's nothing.
You're like, does the thing have shields? Are these weapons on the TIE fighters that powerful? They can just start taking out.
Even Poe in the beginning of this movie, he's taking out these turrets like it's fucking nothing alone.
And it's like, all right, I don't care how great of a pilot he is. What kind of weapon? Like, where do we stand on this? Because now you're saying with the shields, like, how long are these shields? How long are these shields gonna last? Like you said, like, and why? Like, sometimes in Star Wars, like in I remember, I hadn't watched all of it, but the Clone Wars, the cartoon show, like,
I love the
there's
Clone Wars,
times
actually.
when they're like, we have to turn the shields off in order to fire, and then other times that's not a thing. And you're like,
it is they need to get consistent.
So when do the shields have to be on? Why aren't the shields on at all times? If you can fire through them, it's just like.
And you know what? This may seem nitpicky, but Star Wars has a lore and a universe and like rules, and it has to follow.
Sure.
Like that's something like Marvel has those same things. Like film universes, games, whatever, have a certain like guideline they have to follow to stay within canon and not break canon. And like this movie is all over the place sometimes, and it with Leia.
Oh, dude. The worst scene.
Oh my god, dude!
That was the eye rolling scene.
And they don't.
So hold on.
How are they gonna kill her off?
It was.
They're saving stuff from
that scene had no purpose. No purpose.
I just don't know what like.
There was no reason.
I was just like, okay, this is how she dies.
So basically, she's in space
for a few minutes.
That's it.
At least
a few minutes.
She's just a human.
She's a human. She hasn't seemed to have like had a shield or anything on her that's protecting her, and all of a sudden she just starts to move. And then she just flies.
For the first time ever,
she's Superman's to the
for the first time ever displays a insane amount of force power.
Yes.
I mean, there's been a lot of theory that
was a super fan
she
service
can use the force, and like you see it in this movie. She like connects with Han Solo in The Force Awakens. She connects with Kylo, and like that's okay. That has been like very much concrete that she can do that.
Yeah.
But this, it's going a little too far.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
It can.
I mean,
why aren't people with the Force flying to begin with now? Why can if you can just fly or like pull yourself, whatever you're doing, why haven't Jedi Sith been doing that in fights and stuff? Like, you know what I mean?
Well,
like, why are you moving?
I think they've
been
kind of
countering gravity and like
the way they
jumping.
do, especially in the prequel stuff where they're just flipping and like I sort of understand the idea of it, but at the same time, like, how is she still alive though?
Exactly.
When she's
To be able to
frozen,
do it.
yeah.
I don't think force
maybe
resurrects
she was still
people.
within
Maybe
the
if
shields
she
of the ship, and
like you saw like some type of force bubble, not even a force bubble, but like
I'm really trying to help that scene out here.
Exactly.
It's still just like ridiculous. Yeah.
At the end of Rogue One, when Vader, I still have to rewatch that scene then. But Vader is standing out watching the ship leave at the end of Rogue One. Spoilers for that movie as well. And
that's really the main scene I watch.
He's watching it, and I don't know if there's a shield in between him or some type of like something separating him from space. But if there isn't, which it doesn't seem like there is, it's like we're believed that his apparatus is being able to keep him alive in space. You know, like
he does have that. Yeah, his does.
He can breathe in space because of his
so
he has and there's a reason he can do that. Now for Leia, just a regular person who we've never seen, like you said, use any type of force before, that is a huge.
I assume the idea is that you're supposed to believe that she's been. I know it's not fair, and I'm not saying that's how you should picture it, but you assume that she's been practicing her force powers throughout like these years that she's just been alive
to be able to do that,
to just have some type of force.
And then my bigger gripe with that whole thing is Carrie Fisher has passed away. she is not dead at the end of this movie.
And they've confirmed.
What the fuck?
She won't even be in the movie.
So how they? Oh, C-3PO is gonna be like this. She's off on another planet doing diplomatic stuff, and that's gonna be it.
Good call.
That's gonna be it. I guarantee it.
I mean, so
and
I'm trying to think of how.
It makes me so mad.
I know.
It
does.
This ninth movie is gonna need some good writing.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna need.
I think really where it's
I'm
this
so
one
mad right
shines. It's really all the stuff that's not Rey, Luke, Snoke, and Kylo that I'm just like I don't care. Like I don't like the stuff with Finn and Rose.
Fuck. Rose was the worst character in the movie.
The worst, and so far.
Canto Bite. Fuck that.
I thought this.
I didn't hate the idea of Canto Bite.
Oh,
guess what? It was a CGI fucking shithole from Episode 1.
It was. It was all CGI, and J.J. Abrams was so like big on practical effects.
And the first
one, that
totally.
whole fucking planet and
everything. It was so prequel trilogy.
There's nothing in it. It's a CGI.
No, that's actually another gripe that I was having. Was even like the little furry dudes was all CGI. Like there were no classic style animatronics.
They were animatronics.
Some of them were.
There were some animatronics.
Some of the porgs were animatronics. Yeah, definitely. Especially on the island, not the one in the ship.
Yeah,
the one where
they're flying. I don't think that they were very like what's it called? What's the word I'm looking for? Gratuitously
my one issue was
they didn't. They didn't shove it
like down your.
To be honest, what you see in the trailer is like
mostly what you see of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's never like a lingering shot where they stay on it.
The most lingering is with Chewie.
I'm glad one didn't get a name. That would have been over the edge for me. If they took one and named it.
Totally like you're mine.
I'm out.
So
Kylo and Rey, how'd you feel about their dynamic? I
really good.
That was
good.
The whole movie to me. They could have.
They
could have took all of those scenes and added up 25 minutes, and sold that movie to me, and I would have been like, I will still go pay for it and go see it. I thought the Force Link was actually like really well done, like well shot.
I do too.
It had good emotion.
And
I actually felt like that was the most suspense and tension in the whole movie.
It was really good.
Again,
because I think it was like you weren't really sure what was happening.
Yeah, like, you weren't sure if Rey was becoming dark. Or Kylo was becoming light, or what?
And I feel like it kind of tried to allude to the fact that like they had maybe they were like brother and sister, or like family connection or like something. But we find out later why they have this connection. And I like what you said with the way it's shot. Like you never see them together.
The way it's shot is very
until they touch and he comes in, and it's really cool.
I like how say Rey is me and you're Kylo, and they're always looking at each other like that, even though they're never in the same frame. Mm-hmm. Very good filming, very good well thought out.
That's where the dialogue I think was the strongest.
Awesome. Yeah. Fucking great. A high point in this movie.
I loved how Rey just despised him at the beginning, like you're a monster, like get the hell away from me, I don't even want to talk to you. But then throughout the whole movie you see the light in him, or quote unquote. But
say
something.
No.
So while she's on the island, she's training with Luke.
Yeah,
sort of.
Yeah. She's more training herself.
Self-training.
Yeah.
And one of the things was she embraces the dark side.
Well, yeah, so when Luke goes to quote-unquote train her, why she shouldn't be a Jedi is what he said. Like, that's what I liked.
I want to hear what he says.
Just snapped right to the dark side. He says it himself.
Yeah. Yes! And then...
Right to it.
So what... Notice her clothes get darker.
Do they?
Well, when she...
her outfit is darker than the
Rey.
Yes. Her hair is down. It's not as kept. She looks...
Yeah, it's her...
darker.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the way her character is, and she ends up being good.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
Why?
I don't think. Why even introduce the point?
What do you mean? Why even introduce the point? I don't get
it. Has she wound up being good?
I feel like
she's very neutral.
She's the gray.
But Kylo's very neutral too. I think.
No, I feel he was sold to the dark, and he will be dark forever.
Yeah, I agree.
But he is Loki. He's the Loki of Star Wars. You can't trust him. He will always be dark. There's whenever you think maybe there's hope for this character.
No,
I really think that.
Dude, okay. Sorry,
That's it.
I love interrupting. You know that.
We all do. I do too.
So my main thing was, Kylo. I really thought what I wanted this to happen was, Kylo Kylo would become good and Rey would become bad, because
Yeah.
that's not, like Mark Hamill said, this isn't gonna go the way you think it is, and that's Disney not playing it safe and being ballsy and making a good story where you think that would never happen, and it does, and it doesn't. And then
I think it does.
I don't.
I
There's
love
one.
when it does.
I really am sitting here and like I think this movie is a play it safe story, and some people, like, I voiced my opinion on Twitter, and some people was like, I don't agree. I'm like, really?
I think
because
I don't agree at all. I think it took so many liberties.
Really?
There's one risk in particular that they took, and that's just with Luke, like how his like descent for the Jedi, and like his really non-association with the whole plot until.
And I love they make a
like,
point of saying he's blocked himself off from the Force, like Rey says, and I kind of took that more of like he's in the gray, like she can't see him because he's so neutral and he doesn't see the dark. So he doesn't deal with
to clarify my point, playing it safe with Kylo and Rey's story, not necessarily the whole movie, because in my opinion the whole movie's about those two.
Yeah, I think that I can agree with, because they have this whole power and dynamic struggle, which was very interesting, very engaging,
and it ended up being nothing.
Exactly. And toward the end,
that's what I'm saying.
It really didn't account. It didn't fruit anything.
Yeah.
Well, I think it fruited up. Not fruit. I think
I
it
wasn't
set
sure
it.
what to say. Like
fruited up.
I think it set it up for a good episode 9 round off where they are gonna have to. So basically, can we move into the Snoke scene? I feel like that's fine.
Oh, fucking
so
please.
I really love this scene personally.
Agreed.
Oh, it was great.
So Rey goes to the ship to try and turn Kylo, and he brings her in front of the Supreme Leader. And
real quick, just like kind of like not foreshadowing, but similar to Luke going up with Vader.
Totally,
yes.
Totally.
Oh, the whole scene is very similar.
Parallel, yeah. And so he brings her up there, and Snoke's just basically almost omnipotent. He's just fucking with her. Like the way he's like not even moving his arms. She's just going up and down. Yeah. She pulls the lightsaber, hits her in the head, and I just love Snoke. I really.
It was good.
I did like Circus. I love the way he was playing it.
Absolutely, a high point of the movie.
Definitely, and I think they made a really good twist. But
would have been cool to see him not CGI. Do a little bit of makeup, use some of that budget.
Oh, that would have been
true.
I would have liked to see that. Would have been tough. I agree, but I think they still could have done it.
Does anyone else feel that this Snoke is different than the Snoke we were introduced to in Force Awakens?
Well, you see, because of the hologram is like some giant,
and his voice is different.
Yes, voice and how he talks,
and you see like
you said now, and he's kind of
like he's controlling what's his Hux from another ship, basically. Like remember when he's on the bridge, he's like Hux, and he just slams him on the thing.
Yeah. See, real quick, is that something people could have done?
Yeah, well, I mean, you see Vader choke out Admiral Piat in Episode 5.
Like,
okay.
I
was like, is that a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I love the way Snoke's just playing it so confidently. Like Circus, just the way he's like, I feel. And they do the twist, and I really want to see how you guys felt about this, but I think that they could have shot it better. So Kylo cuts Emperor or Supreme Leader Snoke right in two,
just like Darth Maul.
And I was like, what?
I was blown away, shocked.
I was
really pissed off.
I'm worried they may have written themselves into a bit of a conundrum for Episode 9.
Okay.
Now they have no primary antagonist. Now it's
Kylo's the primary
antagonist. Kylo, basically, because
he's Supreme Leader.
That's not interesting. All Kylo, and come on, we want more. I wanted more out of that arc.
I think his and Rey's story is so dynamic, and their stuff is so interesting and cool to watch that final battle is gonna just be all the better now, because he tried to turn her. He's like, fuck it, I'm gonna be the Supreme Leader. She thought he was turning to the good side, and like you see her break down. She's like, don't do this. Like, why? You're right here. You did the right thing. Take it one step further. And that scene where he rips the lightsaber back and she catches it, and they go back to back.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Real quick,
it's so good.
2 points. Snoke. It's like they just threw him out the window. Who fucking cares?
I do feel like Rian Johnson was like, I don't need this.
Are you crazy? We're all sitting here like it's Plagueis, it's this guy, who he is. he's the kid from episode 3. My favorite theory.
Master Anakin,
I love that theory.
everyone.
But I'm just like, it's like you just didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And then there's a parallel when we
yeah.
find out who Rey's parents is, and they're nobody. And I think that's good.
I like that.
That's really good.
Well, a point here is we don't know they're nobody.
Yeah, we as
don't-
far as Kylo says,
as far as
they're
I don't
nobodies.
know.
I would
believe
like
him.
to feel
Who the
that
fuck is she
they
gonna
may
be?
not have been assholes like Kylo said, but they were still nobody, maybe farmers or something, an emperor type of
Well,
thing.
here's something. I was talking to Jason Hiller about this. We know that Anakin's parents were junk traders, right? They were like
His
merchants.
mom
His
was
mom
just
was like a
some
slave,
Yeah.
like,
Right,
but
so,
like she was
they
a
were-
nobody.
they-
She
yeah,
was a
they came
nobody.
from a
Yeah,
nobody.
exactly.
So maybe like there was some relation there, like a low.
I
lower
think
income, lower
I think if
status.
anything, it's a parallel.
I would
Yeah,
really
maybe
just
it's
like it, yeah.
parallel. Yeah.
And I
But-
think they're going for that whole idea that you come from nothing and you can save the galaxy.
But
And-
going back to Snoke, it's just like, really, man? Can we just get some lore?
See, I love that
Something?
they
I
subverted.
like the way they did it.
Yeah, I like the way they
that scene
kill
where,
him,
like,
but-
you know, he's like Snoke is reading his mind, but like he's you know,
Like he's so confident, but he doesn't know exactly what he's
Right.
confident of. Yeah.
and I like the way they did that. I agree completely, Gooch. Like, really? Like they
Exactly.
they have this like they build up this antagonist from like the other movie, and now all of a sudden he's just gone.
And you know, and he's name dropping Sidious, and we're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like he's been around for a while.
And I'm just like, he knows. He clearly is somebody special. JK, he's dead, cut in half, just like Darth
And
Maul.
he seemed so the most powerful Force user we've ever seen. It
Exactly.
seemed
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
It just
And
seems
we
like a
even seen him use
waste.
Force lightning
Yeah,
for
just
a brief second.
Yeah.
A brief
Yeah.
second.
Wait,
you're
what
like,
scene is it?
It's when he's dealing with Kylo and he's telling him, he's
Pissed.
like, "You're behind the." I love that scene
He's
too.
pissed at him.
What does he do?
He's taught. He says
Like,
something
when does the
to
lightning
him.
come up?
He fucking shoots it like off the ground and bounces him away. I can't remember.
Really?
what
I don't think I even
Yeah,
noticed.
He shoots it off the ground and it
And like it
reflects off him.
ricochets and
Oh, that's
fucks.
him
Yeah.
back.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he's like, "You're a child in a mat." I love
That's
that
why I said
scene.
it was so brief.
Yeah.
He shot
maybe I
out of
thought it
his
was
hand, like,
forced.
so quickly.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
But one thing I would have liked to see with that scene, and I would have liked to see his hand, but I wish they didn't show the saber turn. I wish he just said, and he strikes his enemy, and then the saber goes off. You didn't even see him turn it. And then, like, I think that would have been even a little bit more of like,
Yeah,
Like, I
because
didn't
like,
see that.
you sort of get that like, you know, build up like, oh, I get what he's doing.
yeah, like he's gonna, like you wouldn't, you'd be kind of
Yeah.
just like, it's right. Oh fuck, it was him.
And then after that, my favorite scene in the movie when Rey and Kylo fight
Fight
together.
the Praetorian
But
guards.
okay,
Yeah.
so that's the Praetorian Guard. That whole scene is the best scene in the movie. But one thing,
like, unequivocally. That
Yeah, I think I think it is
That's
too.
my
Yeah.
second favorite.
That's my. Yeah.
so I really thought Kylo, the way he was talking was when he was like, "We don't need them. Like, fuck the rebels, fuck the First Order." I'm like, is he like?
Well, fuck. He said.
He's like,
we don't need the
forget the
Jedi. We
past.
don't need the Sith.
Yeah,
Forget
forget the past,
Yeah.
kill
We
it.
don't
That's
need-
been his whole thing.
Yeah.
I was so like, yo,
Yeah.
you're in the
But
gray
he's still,
area, and I
but no,
like
he's
it.
still more on the,
Let's forget
the dark
the past,
though.
but let's control everything.
Everything, and
Yeah.
it's
But-
like
but-
Anakin. My new empire is gonna be great, and we can do some good things.
So
but,
my thinking is he isn't really for the First Order. He's straight up
but I
using
think he's,
them.
I think
never-
he's so
oh.
mentally scarred though at this point that he is dark. He is
Yeah.
on that
Yeah,
side of
yeah.
and we haven't even
Yeah.
talked about the
Yeah.
reason why he's converted to, which I want to get to with Luke. But what were you
In
gonna
an
say?
interview for Force Awakens between Adam Driver and Gleason, who plays General Hux,
Yeah.
they said that their characters are just like kind of like brothers, like in the fact that there's a sibling rivalry to try and prove themselves.
Yeah,
to Snoke.
better
I
And
felt that vibe.
and that Kylo really doesn't care what the First Order is. It's just that Snoke does.
Yeah.
So he cares about it just because he does.
Yeah, exactly.
He
yeah.
doesn't really care about that. And,
Yeah.
And General Hux doesn't care about Kylo Ren, but he cares about him because his boss
Supreme Leader
is
Snoke
training
does, yeah.
this guy. So he's like, all right,
I have to
we
care.
have
yeah.
to like work together. But they
It's
really are
begrudgingly.
not.
They're not friends.
No,
and you
they don't
see
like
that
each
by the
other.
end of it. So I want to really talk about why Kylo turns to the dark side, and why Snoke, and how they
Just
present
before
that.
that, while we're on Hux,
Mhm.
is his character, whoever played Hux, is he in any like superhero movies?
He's in.
I don't think so.
He's in the
Harry
Revenant.
Potter.
He's in the Revenant. He's in Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Oh, I know he's in Harry Potter.
He's in a movie
He's,
called.
Weasley.
It's.
Okay,
I think.
Classic
his
Weasley.
whole like the way he delivered his script was very much like cartoony.
General
like
Hux.
superhero.
I really like his.
I think it was
cartoony,
I think it was
little-
super like empire-y, like we.
It was,
Oh, dude,
yeah,
like
it
in
was like a
Force
caricature.
Awakens,
He's
he's like Hitler
he's
level.
He's a Mussolini kind of like how he talks and like
how he dresses.
He's yelling and he's talking like this and he's
There's the one scene from Force Awakens where he's like when they shoot and kill the entire Republic. Spoilers for the system. I mean, we're talking about what am I saying? And and the way he's like shaking and he's like getting all revved up. I actually like that, but were you just not a big fan of it? Or,
I think it wasn't. It wasn't showing as good in this movie as it was in Force Awakens,
and that's why I guess that first scene worked a little more for me. I thought, but I totally get it. So with Luke and Kylo, I really liked how they framed this a lot.
A high point of the movie. Yes.
You get Kylo Luke asks. I'm sorry. Rey asks Luke why he turned, and what does he say? What's his recount?
He basically says he senses a dark force in Kylo enough that he feels the need to put him down.
And then Kylo has this conversation first. He tells Rey.
No, it's the other way around.
No.
Kylo tells Rey
because then she confronts Luke.
And she confronts Luke. Yeah.
And the way Kylo sees it is basically Luke was gonna kill him in his sleep because he thought he was turning, but then we get the story from Luke, and the idea was Luke felt his darkness growing, and he was really afraid, and he had a fleeting thought to kill him, and he ignited the lightsaber, but then he knew he wasn't gonna do it. But by that time it was too late. Ren had woken up. Or Ben, I guess.
The lightsaber turned on
and
in his hand.
He was like, Ben, no. And he piled him down in a house.
Yeah, and then he takes his, followers.
No,
the fact that they don't call them Knights of Ren and they're just throwing them off is really pissing me off.
I think that's gonna be a big thing in the third movie. They're leaving that for another
I hope you're right, but I don't understand why they just didn't call him. He took the students and then he formed the Knights of Ren. Why couldn't they just said that?
Well, how would Luke know? He said he took some of my former students, and Luke went into. Why would he know? He's been cut off from everyone.
Yeah, I think after that, Luke just
he just went into his hermit mode. He found a place.
I don't know.
Because
at that point, he just considered himself a failure.
And and he went into hiding.
I guess.
I think the Knights of Ren are going to be a big thing.
Do you feel me on that, Ian? Though?
Somewhat. I'm just thinking though.
I would have liked to see the whole flashback scene.
Episode 3, Yoda's like he failed and he left. Remember when he fights the Emperor and he just kind of bails?
Yeah, he's like, I failed. See you later.
And then he just
goes to.
Maybe other people
he goes to
figure this out, my problem for me.
Yeah,
but I'm not going to die to stop this. And Luke kind of does the same thing. He's like, shit has hit the fan.
Which is probably intentional.
I'm kind of out.
I'm done. I hate this is ridiculous. I screwed up. And I think that really kind of drawed from the fact that he couldn't face Leia after losing his son was the big thing they were trying to drive home, which I really
I think that's cool. Weird is I feel like Leia doesn't give a shit about Kylo at all. She doesn't really seem to care.
I just think that's Carrie Fisher.
There was very little interplay between them.
Yeah, but this one I think she's seen.
She's just like, we're gonna have this forced connection, and then Kylo's gonna shoot her with a thing, but he doesn't, and then his guards do. But that's it.
But Luke kind of comes to her and is kind of asking for permission. Can I kill your son?
Yeah, basically. Or can I help kill your son?
I'm gonna have to do this. Is this cool? And there's never really a hesitation or
she's like, it's
shitty
too
parents
late.
in Star Wars, man.
Yeah, yeah, you can kill him. We fucked up.
This is it's too late. There's nothing left.
We're not salvaging it.
And I do think that's from You see Snoke mentally brutalizing him. I feel like even more than the Emperor did to Vader, because even
I agree with that.
In that first scene where he's like, you're just a child in a mask, and he just starts to really just shit on
him.
How
he makes fun of him.
And
it's cool.
And then he crushes the helmet in the elevator. I really liked Adam Driver's performance. Yeah.
Adam was the best actor in this whole movie.
Easy. And I really loved his stuff, man.
Speaking of, touching on the acting, I thought Daisy Ridley actually took a little bit to get into her character this time.
Really?
I think that I agree. She had some pretty poor performance in the beginning.
It's not as bad. I feel like it's just maybe it's because she's trying to find herself, but the character is also trying to find herself.
I mean, I thought she was great. I mean, she did what she was needing to do.
Because we're at the high point of her questioning herself, you know?
True.
So maybe that has something to do with it?
Could be. I think just that whole first, like, dynamic of the beginning with Luke not being into the Jedi and her having to, like, you know, go through all this stuff, I think that it just threw everybody off at that point. Like, it's just like, this is, like, not what anyone expected. So I think they were a little confused on how to deliver it. And that's why it didn't, like, seem right.
What's up?
Did you want to say something? Because I was going to say something.
No.
Because I look like you were ready to say something.
No.
Like I said, I don't want to keep harping on it. I liked what Luke was doing with that stuff, but...
So the only thing I wanted, like, going back to the Luke Skywalker scene, I really like how they made Luke, like, human in a way. That, like, he even talks about it himself. Like, he's like, I'm the legend. And, like, he's right. Like, he is so fucking spot on.
Speeches,
like, he's just talking about himself because, like he's the do no wrong character of Star Wars. And they show him doing wrong. And, like, it's a high point of the movie.
I love when he starts calling out the Jedi, though, for all the bullshit. He's like, why are the Jedi good? They let Palpatine rise to power. They let him take out the entire Jedi Order. They brought up his Padawan Vader to then become like he just starts calling all the bullshit. And I'm like, it's so true. Why would he want to be a part of this? And that's why I guess that whole thing, it just comes together for me where I'm like, this makes total sense why he's acting like.
And going back to where I think like I felt like Kylo was in the gray space and maybe Rey was too.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want Luke says at the end of the film, like one of his last lines is like, I'm not the last Jedi. I'm like, fuck you, man. Like, no more Jedi. I'm like, I thought that was the point. Like, she doesn't have to be a
Jedi.
Well,
There's gotta be something.
I know, but I don't want it to be
like,
the same thing. I like when like characters realize that their organizations or their groups are flawed and they have to do something new.
And I think
it's kind of like real life.
That's what I think, because like she has shown glimpses of being dark. I'm not saying she will be teaching like dark, but like
there's gray.
She's not
gray.
Traditional,
but I think she still considers herself a Jedi.
Rey is gray.
That she will do what she needs to be for the
sake of everyone. Yeah, even if it's a little bit of a bad to do a good.
Using your anger to stop them, she will let that happen. You know.
Yeah. I like that. I like how it's not,
I loved it too.
You know, Obi-Wan is like straight A.
I think we're gonna get a reinvention of
Jedi, you know, so it's very
like
different.
A Jedi, yeah. One scene I'm very curious to get everyone's thought on. Yoda.
Oh yeah.
Didn't expect that.
I didn't expect it at all, but
did not expect it.
How did you like it?
Yeah, I did.
Yes.
Yeah. I thoroughly enjoyed that scene.
I looking back, I liked how they used a puppet.
Yeah,
dude, it looked and the way he
at first I was like, that's an odd choice.
It must have been the original.
They just showed a casino all in, and we've seen a lot of CGI in this movie. For them to then not do it was like.
It must be the original. It looks.
No, it's an exact copy.
Yeah, I mean, you knew that if they CGI'd Yoda and like.
I wouldn't mind it. I think he looks cool in episode 3.
The way he acts and he's like, like he's like episode 6 or no, Yoda.
Classic, episode 5 and 6. Yeah, he's crazy. He's an old fucking crazy man.
Yeah,
like, you know,
1,000-year-old job. Yeah,
and then
little green guy.
Luke's about to burn down the tree of the Jedi or whatever it is with all the Jedi text in it, and then he can't do it. And Yoda just calls down a lightning bolt and.
They are the Journal of the Wills, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they're.
I wish they
don't joke by
that.
name. Yeah, I was hoping that he'd say that too.
Yeah.
But then we later find out that the books weren't in the tree.
Rey took them.
Yeah, Rey has them.
I didn't realize that.
When did we learn?
I didn't realize that.
I was just about to say that, Tim.
Yeah.
There's a shelf when she pulls out on the Millennium Falcon. All the books are there.
Did you watch the same thing I did?
No, I just saw the movie.
because I was watching Emergency Awesome's video and he says that. Yeah. And I'm like.
Yeah, you got it's all the text. It's her. Yeah, she has all of them.
I'm seeing it again. I've only seen it once.
See, that's the thing.
We all saw it once, and I was kind of surprised. I was like, I knew you went out last night. I was like, Ian's not seeing it again. I was like, we all saw it once. I was like, because I think both of the Star Wars, we all saw it multiple times.
Yeah, I wanted to see it
second again for sure.
Totally.
I don't think I want to see it again in theaters. I don't really care to.
I have Movie Pass now, actually. So
dude, I need to get. Yeah, I need to get on that. Dude, seriously. What was I gonna say? But Yeah, so the Jedi will live on, as we know. How'd you guys feel about Luke's whole...
Real quick, going back to the tree. You know what I would have loved to seen, and this would have been like, you guys are dedicated. If they brought Anakin back in that scene too.
Well,
Hayden Christensen.
There was thoughts, if you read the expanded thing...
Because they're not... One thing they seem to do is...
I would have rather seen Obi-Wan, not Anakin.
You could argue, though, if they did do that.
But they don't have that actor. That's the only thing.
Right.
If they brought back Hayden Christensen to be Anakin,
Awesome.
why wouldn't he not talk to his grandson who looked in?
See, that's the thing about Force Ghosts.
He could be like, "Hey, I made a mistake.
I fucked up so
Vader.
hard, yeah."
And when you're idol, then you could also say then he's like, "No, you made a mistake by saying it was a mistake." Then you could see maybe Kylo truly turn evil and be like, "Even my idol was an idiot.
Did
like,
you
he doesn't
read?
know what he's talking about." Like,
did you read the novelization for Force Awakens?
I did not know.
So there's this, it's an expanded book and the novelization. They had this idea and there was concepts of Kylo seeing an Anakin Force Ghost, but he's like between Vader and Anakin. So it's like he looks all dark and it's like kind of fading back and forth between him and Anakin, and he's trying to communicate with Kylo, but it's just these tattered visions that he can't understand.
And so like,
and it was going to be Hayden Christensen.
When I was saying like the dedication, like they don't really reference the prequels too much, and I think that's kind of like a bad thing. It's like they're trying to wipe away the mistake, even though it's canon.
They've grabbed it Sidious.
Yeah,
you've never heard.
But that's
Luke call him that.
Yeah,
And you know, there was another thing that they mentioned the prequels.
There's
about.
definitely there's some nuggets in there. 100%.
Yeah, you're right. But I wanted more, and I think that Anakin scene would have made sense. You know,
totally. And
we got a whole kind of got a band now of Force Ghosts. You know,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
like we could have got Qui-Gon there, Obi-Wan, Anakin. You know.
And
it's
maybe
it's what's it called for Kylo Ren? What's the drug thing when they all come in? Intervention. It's all the Force Ghosts coming in. Kylo, we need to talk to you.
You know what? Like, we could see Snoke come back as a Force Ghost. Maybe we could see Luke come back as a Force Ghost. Like, I don't think that's out of the question for either of them.
Snoke.
Yeah.
Snoke, I think
to Kylo and like fuck with him. I don't know. Is a Force
Yoda mentioned it's a light side of the
I was
Force.
Gonna say, is it a
you
can't
can't just
power?
come back. I mean, that is
I thought that's
Obi-Wan saying like I'll become more powerful than you could possibly imagine by tapping into the light side. Like he is fully one with the light.
It's something that like you don't just get killed and you
can be a Force.
Okay,
you actually
I think you have to like
go into that mode. Like when
fade.
Luke, when Luke disappears, and like in the originals when Obi-Wan like just he undoes his lightsaber and disappears. Like he like becomes one with
he lets go.
It's funny that in episode 3 that they mentioned that Qui-Gon is the first Jedi to figure
do
that
it,
out. Yeah, we haven't seen him as a Force Ghost ever.
Yeah.
Or them mention that.
Wait,
like,
they do? I gotta watch episode. I gotta watch.
It's at the end of 3, right? Yoda's. He's like, I've managed to talk to your old master,
like
Qui-Gon. Or something like
to teach you how to become one with the Force.
Yeah. So there was one.
I love how we have totally glossed the Canto Bite and the Finn Ray plot.
Well, I think we're still. I was about to.
It's nothing.
Yeah, but I think it shows because we're not talking about it.
Listen to this. I think, in theory, that storyline worked a lot better. I like I'm very curious to see actually how much of that scene. You don't think that could have worked in any
trash. It was total trash.
If Commander Holdo, Captain, whatever her title is.
I'm saying her aside.
She just says what the game plan is to Poe.
I agree. They
totally don't have to go there in the first place. Their scenes don't become a thing. Finn doesn't even meet her.
Well, that's what I was saying. We can get things out of the way, literally.
And
I almost think they should
need it to happen.
Yeah.
The whole scene, and then, when Finn does, At least he's like, it was for a good cause. It's like, no, bro, what are you talking about? You came here to save the universe.
And they don't even find the right guy.
The horses aren't going to get whipped anymore. Like, what is that? What is you just trying to sneak some message into us? Like,
they don't even find the right dude. And I love how Maz is like, there's only one guy. There's fucking two, you bitch.
I will say I think it did serve a purpose. The whole stuff, not the whole dose. I think that stuff's stupid and contrived. That's the word. But I say on Canto Bight, I think they do a good job of trying to illustrate that like the rebels need to be there. Like there's someone to look up to for these. Like you see the orphans and things like that. Like
that's my.
Oh,
we'll
our toy kids, our ad.
Well, my favorite scene of the movie is the very last scene.
Are you serious?
By far, my favorite scene of this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I think better than the meeting, the guards fight scene.
Since we're talking about it, I really think the whole thing is kind of shot like an advertisement for kids' toys. The way they're playing with a set, like.
What are they? They're playing with like alien toys.
He has a broom.
No. The kids telling them the story of Luke fighting Kylo Ren, and with the toys, like you would see in I got the Luke action figure.
But that's just kids playing with toys.
Let me finish.
I don't know. Like, what do you mean?
Let me finish.
Yeah, okay. Sorry,
and then the kid walks outside. It looks like he pulls that broom.
He does.
Force.
He does.
That's
my favorite scene.
Yeah.
That's why.
He did.
That guy, the kid, has no connections to any Skywalker or anything. We are officially in the mode of we're out. We don't need to be connected to Skywalkers anymore.
Yeah.
There are Jedi, which is also something I've always wanted to know. Just because the Empire has been around doesn't mean that Force-sensitive kids
haven't been figuring it out. Yeah.
They've been growing, born and stuff.
I think the idea is they're witch hunted out. Like when someone is found out to have any type of Force powers, they're either I don't know exactly what happens to them. I'm assuming Palpatine's a weirdo and kills them, but that's what I'd assume. But you'd have to keep it hidden from everyone. You don't want to tell people that.
And then the way he holds the broom, kind of like the lightsaber, and then the ring. It just kind of. It all it really felt to me like Disney was trying to sell you to buy shit. That's what.
Toy? I don't think so.
What toy?
I
What are they selling?
I didn't see.
If I was a kid, if I was a fucking kid,
I got that in more of the evil BB-8.
Totally. Yeah. I actually thought I didn't hate that scene, but yeah,
it was so weird.
But now there's just another BB-8 thing.
Okay,
so,
I'm not
true.
super solidified on this point. You can convince me, but.
I wouldn't point out that part to try and illustrate.
I just kind of if I was a kid, I would have looked at those kids and be like, I want to fucking be like that kid, and I want to get a lightsaber and maybe my rebel ring thing. I don't know. It seemed a little forced.
See, that scene kind of made that stuff come around.
If Disney wasn't involved, I wouldn't have correlated that. But that they are trying to sell.
I'm gonna have to look out for that. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, see,
that's the way majority of people have not noticed.
The way he pulls it off the wall.
He grabs it from he's not even next to the wall, and the Force grabs the broom,
and he just walks past it. It's quick. Yeah. I was just like, whoa. Nobody said anything in my theater, but I out loud was like,
so. Now that you brought up a point earlier about the books, is Rey going to try and do what Luke failed to do and start a temple herself?
Probably.
Are we going to see at the end of 9?
I think it's going to be more.
Kids?
I think it's going to be her. I think at the end of 9, totally. But I think for this movie, she's going to go and train herself with those books and really try and master her powers. Because the next time she faced Kylo, I don't know how it's going to go. They both saved each other's life now.
I would like to say, Snoke calls Kylo kid. And, I mean, he made a very poor choice of... what are these other Knights of Ren and the kids that Luke was teaching? Because Kylo Ren is not that great of a fighter. And multiple times almost dies from those guards.
Yeah.
Well, but I think that was...
Rey, who has never fought before in The Force Awakens, beats his ass. I guess she has the light side maybe with her.
Yeah, maybe...
No, I mean, he's been shot by Chewie's thing. I think that...
Finn keeps up with him. I think. Finn keeps up with him for a bit. He's forced back... I just don't find him that powerful or great of a fighter.
I think you're right.
Yeah, if you can tell the way he swings his light long sword, he always hits the ground with it and very aggressive.
I think I think that's a fight style, and he is using a different type of lightsaber we've never seen.
Well, that's he's avoiding his hilts and stuff like that, and I think in The Force Awakens he has an out in the fact of he was shot with Chewie's blaster bolt, which they illustrate twice or 3 times in that movie how powerful that thing is.
When he hits himself,
people go fucking flying.
Yeah.
They spend time on that.
Wookiee bowcaster, very, very,
very
powerful tool.
And you can tell he's
blood, but there's a dark, wet.
I really like in that fight.
Blood in the
I really like in that fight where he.
That's what I'm saying. So
it's like a mother,
son of a bitch.
Even when he's fighting Finn, he has him for a second, but then you see him. I watched it before the new one, and he's fuck this, and then he finally just takes him and then whips him up the side,
and
the back.
You know,
and then with Rey, obviously he was at the disadvantage because of that, and the light side.
I think his fight style is really not about agility; it's about strength and his
totally
the
he's
force
a lot more,
of his hits. He puts a lot of power, and he's not like.
I feel like we could argue if Rey wasn't up there and he killed Snoke, then is he getting out of there alive with those guards? Exactly. And maybe vice versa.
Those Praetorian guards were fucking awesome.
They're pretty tough.
Dude, so cool.
Who are they? How are they this strong? Why have?
Well, what do you mean? They're specially trained guards. I can accept the fact that they're
I would like
crazy.
I would like a little backstory on them as well. To be
True.
honest.
Well, but I mean, you see those guards in The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Of course, they don't do anything. He's like, leave us, and then they walk away. But I think the idea is that you're supposed to believe that they're like crazy good guards.
Someone brought up the point though. If you're so powerful, why do you need guards? Is it just insurance, or just like which I could buy?
I think it's a power stance.
I'm just.
Totally. No. I like it. I love it.
It's like you know what it is.
Totally.
Maybe this is a far stretch.
And I actually think they went down too quick, but we'll get back to it.
The Empire is kind of like a parallel to the Nazis in a way.
100%. I mean, that's what they.
Hitler's elite SS troops are very decorated, and they're
totally. That's
like the way they look is a lot different from the regular German troops. I think that might be a parallel. Just
there's also
they're like death squads. Like they are elite people.
Totally.
There's also in like the Sith lore, like the apprentice is supposed to kill the master.
Kill the master. Yeah.
Every time,
so of course he's gonna protect himself.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And that's the idea. I mean,
we were talking about that on Xbox the other day.
With like that, because the whole idea with the dark side is that you keep your master until you realize he can't teach you anything, and if your student is too weak, then
you kill the student,
you get a new student. Yeah. The whole idea is they are eventually supposed to surpass you, and I did just love. Just his face when he rips the lightsaber through him is so good. I really, because he just didn't see it coming.
Shocked, yeah.
He's just so like and Rey even says overconfidence will be his downfall, and that's what it is.
You must feel like one of the guards was like off to the side and was like,
"Oh,
dude, like I don't want to speak up during your like things turning."
He hits his spear on the ground.
Supreme leader.
Bro, Bob.
That's fucked. One other one other part of that scene, when they have the lightsaber, Rey and Kylo in the middle of them, and then they split it. If Rey doesn't make a goddamn staff lightsaber with that crystal, I am gonna go insane.
I want to see a white lightsaber. I want to see a different color.
It's only been done with
like Ahsoka and like gray Jedis use that. Yeah.
I
want to see the gray. I don't know who the Ahsoka is.
Ahsoka,
Anakin,
you know the Clone Wars, the TV series. You know that alien that's with Anakin? She's Ahsoka, and when Anakin goes Vader, she leaves the Jedi too, and
No. It's before that. It's way before that. She goes.
Oh, really?
So yeah, she does something. I can't remember what. I actually really enjoy the Clone Wars.
I want to watch
it.
So is there already canon symbolism for the white?
Yeah, totally.
And she's the only character to ever use. She used two of them.
But she basically she gets a choice in the order, or like they kick her out. Basically, again, she's like, I did the right thing. Like, I know I did the right thing. Screw the Jedi. And Anakin even tries to go out, and he's like, Ahsoka, stay. Like, they said it's fine. Like, I convinced him. She's like, it's not worth it. Like, you guys, the Jedi aren't right.
Yeah.
And there's a really cool scene, and I think it might be Rebels, where her and Vader actually fight.
Yeah,
and it's really,
and she's older,
cool.
and she has the white lightsaber.
What's her name from Melissa Baccarin? Plays her voice.
Baccarin,
yeah. I'm pretty sure she's
Miranda
her voice.
Baccarin?
Or it's the other girl from The Defenders that's in like every Marvel Netflix show.
Rosario Dawson.
Yeah, I think it actually might be Rosario Dawson. It's definitely her.
But we're getting kind of off topic.
No.
There's like a black lightsaber too.
Mm-hmm.
There's like
interesting.
That's a Mandalorian weapon, which is interesting. And it's like a
dark saber, which
a
they
samurai sword
in Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it's called. Yeah.
It's called a dark saber. I believe they call it a dark saber.
They have a name for it. It's like because it's a special thing that only the head leader of like the like the most tough Mandalorian has.
I really want to see Rey get a different colored lightsaber, yellow. I really just want her to have a lightsaber that's unique to her, like Mace Windu has a purple lightsaber.
But I mean, he just got that because he asked.
Does anyone notice while she's self-training herself with the lightsaber, at one point she is like fighting like Star Killer style from like
she has
it backwards.
The way she's coming back.
And you're like, it's like, is she just gonna have her own fighting style, like you said, maybe a staff or like that, like something different that we haven't seen a main character.
I want a different color. I feel like she deserves a different, not a blue.
Well, I mean, I know that like the way that they're talking about the balance of like, you know, you can't be all like good and evil. You can't be all Sith and Jedi to be right. So I feel like if they're gonna close out the series this way, they should really put some closure on like what's going on with the Jedi and Sith. So I am interested in seeing a different color too, like just to be that symbolism.
Yeah,
I think white would be definitely the way to go, and I think it would be her staff, because in The Force Unleashed, you fight this one alien Jedi who has it's literally looks exactly like her staff, but there's a lightsaber at the top.
Huh.
And
it's like small.
Yeah, so it's like it's probably cool. About that. And like if she was doing,
you know, they gave
such cool fighting.
They gave
stuff with
Kylo a unique weapon. I think Rey deserves one too. I mean, and it coming from her staff, I think is the logical choice.
Interesting fact. Interesting, really nerd fact for you. Sith, their crystals are just corrupted crystals. They're not real crystals. They're not like the real. What are they called?
Kyber crystals.
Kyber crystals. Yeah. They're like corrupted clone kyber crystals.
Kylo Ren's saber's unstable. Like that's why it's coming out.
Yeah, his crystal's crazy. Yeah.
What was I going to say?
The sound it makes.
Yeah,
it's
dope. That hum is definitely
it's
unique.
It almost,
it's so dope.
It isn't, but it is almost like flashing, like it's unstable.
Like there's lightning, like plasma things coming off it.
It's going around it, yeah. Like
I love how when he deploys it, when they're in the throne room, and he does that.
It's so awesome.
Cool. I love it.
When Rey just pulls his lightsaber over to him, though, I love that scene. I saw that in a TV spot, and I was like, man, if I saw that before I saw the movie,
I heard Nick talked about it.
I saw a picture of it for a split second on Twitter, and I was like,
fuck.
Right past.
Yeah, I was like, good. I can't see that.
I didn't see it. I heard about it.
Man, that's not cool.
Dude, there's some like I was like, I would be so mad. Yeah. My friend was on Instagram the other day, and he was swiping through. It was like a Jeep page or something, and he swiped to the last thing, and it just said Snoke and Luke die in The Last Jedi. Oh, no preemptive anything, no nothing. He's like, dude, I would be so mad if I didn't see The Last Jedi. Like,
that's so troll.
Dude, I would kill someone. If you do that, you're the worst kind of person. That's all I say.
Going to one of my real gripes with this film, and I'm going to back it up with some quotes from JJ. Phasma's only in fucking 5 minutes of this goddamn movie and doesn't do anything with her. And they said explicitly, you're going to see more of her in episode 7. Or, sorry, episode 8.
They said you saw more of her.
Dude, everything in that plot line with Finn and Rose and all that, everything in there was where they put in all like their shit they don't care about.
But Phasma's cool.
I actually liked the fight between them.
Let's go put her in
I've always just felt that Phasma was a toy.
Yeah, she's a Boba Fett.
Something to sell.
Yeah, but
she's a Boba Fett.
Is she dead now?
I don't.
Nah.
Yeah, we have no character.
I think she's probably dead, but I don't unless I see her die on screen.
Even if she isn't, like, do we care?
I do.
I think she's cool about her.
She's the Boba Fett of this trilogy.
We don't know.
Like, she's that cool-looking character.
She fought Finn, but I'm like, do we really know how good of a fighter she is? Like, it was a short fight.
Like, I thought it was. I thought they showed her like abilities pretty well when she was taking out and when the blaster bolt deflected off her armor.
Yeah, proved that she has some type of
she's elite. Yeah, she is elite.
Yeah.
I think like in the originals though, I know they cashed in on Boba Fett for sure, but they at least like gave Boba Fett character. Like you knew who he was.
What? No, he doesn't.
Like I don't. I'm sorry.
He's just a killer.
He's
like,
just you just see him in Empire. He's just there and he's like, all right, I'm gonna take him back.
I feel like you feel like he does because he's been around for
and he's so cool.
But he really.
I just really think I don't mean that.
And he's just like, I'm here to kill some people and make some money.
Just go back and really like look at what he does. He doesn't do it. Really doesn't do much. He just looks really cool. That's fine. Hey, that's really fun.
The prequels, I think, are the reason because we see Django has a story.
Maybe that's who.
Maybe.
Yeah. What do you think about like was Boba Fett more of like a? Did you find he was like an actually like?
No.
Boba Fett grew. Boba Fett was never even expected to be like big.
Yeah.
Like they made Ralph McGuire designed. Well, Stormtroopers were originally supposed to look like Boba Fett.
Yeah.
Like
really?
His design, all their armor was supposed to be like his.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the chain, and all the stormtroopers were supposed to have shields and a lightsaber. Every single stormtrooper was supposed to have a lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
In the original design.
And that would have been crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, like they did not expect him to blow up. The only reason they even put him in the prequels, Django and his son, Boba,
because everyone
is because people were so hyped about him, how great of a character he was. Yeah. They wrote him into those movies.
They brought him back to life even after. It's like Maul. What saved you? The fans. Like that's and there's nothing wrong with that. I liked, and they've done some really cool stuff with Maul too, which they've
in the
come to a
Clone
close.
Wars,
Yeah. But
and Rebels.
I liked Phasma. I thought that fight scene was cool. It's whatever.
So I think we can all we move to the last the Salt Planet scene? I forget the planet.
One other one. With Holdo, I thought her whole stuff was weird, but that scene
I liked her
where
character,
she does the
and I
hyperdrive like kamikaze, I thought was so cool. I just thought it looked
cool. Yeah,
that
was
amazing.
It was the
rad.
shots right after it, where like it's a little shadow,
and it goes silent, and
it's
yeah,
silent.
That's
That's Star Wars.
That's
film.
what I'm saying. Like,
so cool.
but
that was interesting.
it was like, why couldn't you just have put that on autopilot?
That I've been saying that after I saw that, I was like, why don't they
you can
just make
autopilot light
ships?
drive.
Why don't they
light
just
speed.
make an X-wing or something and just have no pilot and then just light speed it into things from now on? Like, you know how much more damage that's gonna do than anything else you like a missile you're gonna shoot or something? Like,
dude, the way it cuts through. Oh.
Yeah, it was epic.
And that's the scene.
High
So
point for the film.
when we're going in, they're like, "There's a moment of silence in the film. It's not
really?
broken. Don't walk out."
they said that to you?
Yeah, like there was people apparently like walking out because they thought.
Are you
I
fucking
finished the
kidding
movie
me?
and
It's
I'm
like it's like
it's
5
not-
seconds.
I was like,
people that
people
dumb?
were like, and then I guess
Yeah,
people would
dumb.
walk out and be like, "Hey, it's not working," and then they'd be like, "No, it is. You're just an idiot." And then they'd walk back in and be like, "I missed some of the
who would have to,
movie."
like an
Like you
usher
said.
said that to you guys?
No, like the manager said it, and I saw things online of people like posting it from movie theaters.
What?
Dude,
Like
people
you
are
said,
crazy.
like,
more
how-
than 30 seconds.
How impatient are you that you are like
I'm
what's-
outta here.
it's
it's not
broken.
working. I need like everyone run to the lobby. I need like what's going on? Like
Start screaming.
After the movie, I was like, when was the moment of silence? Was it
I mean,
the
is there-
hyperspace
there's no-
thing? Yeah.
there's no dialogue anyhow. It's like not like something should be
There's nothing in
sounding,
space.
like,
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was insane.
So yeah,
It's the sound of space.
what
quite
was
literally.
the Salt Planet called?
Great.
I feel the only thing I feel with Crate, it was like a Hoth clone. Like they,
I thought it was.
Well,
I thought it was totally
I
opposite.
thought it was
yeah.
its own thing.
It
It was-
harkens back to
I
what
felt-
is it? The real second movie, right? when
Epensire.
they're on
Empire.
Hoth.
that's what I
Empire,
felt.
yeah,
It
straight
felt
up.
like it was supposed to be reminiscent of Hoth,
Which I
Just
think's
the way-
fine though. They did
I-
that.
I'm
They-
just saying.
Sure, they had walkers and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I thought
Which they don't get enough screen time.
when they like walk on the thing and it's red. Sorry, Tim. Go.
No, it's just like what they did. I just think it's funny that like they keep harkening back in such these crazy ways. Where like the whole movie, like Rogue One, was literally just the
nostalgia
first
trip.
movie redone. It was like the same sort of thing.
Wait,
You know
Same,
what's
like,
funny with
plot,
Rogue One?
climax
Everyone
and
keeps
everything.
saying like that's better than some of the originals. I keep hearing all over the internet. I'm like, what is going on with people? But
I never just aside from that.
yeah,
it's
I
just,
know.
like, they don't. They could have done a lot more with that last scene, but I still enjoyed it. Like that the Luke standing in there and like
I saw an interview like about them making the film, and they were like, we came up with like this idea of like just like the red and everything coming up, and they're like,
I mean, it's cool.
I
how
love
like
that
how would a
aesthetically.
fight with that? Like, how
Well-
would that affect the battle?
But you-
What would it look like?
first of all,
and
why?
I love
It would
the
be
skin-
so
the skimmers.
It was so. It's like a huge
You don't-
disadvantage
you don't
for
see
you to
the-
see the trail
but
of the ships.
But you don't.
But no, it kicks up dust, so you're
You can make a
basically
cloud, like a
keeping
smoke
cover.
screen.
Yeah,
But like covering for what?
for the TIE fighter shooting down at you. And also, I thought
Like,
it was
just like a regular
looked
smoke
awesome.
screen, just
Yeah,
like in modern day war. Like if you
Yeah,
throw
you're
smoke in,
kicking
you have
up
like
smoke.
But there's no
infrared.
There's no infantry though. I feel like they
Yeah,
just like
there really wasn't.
Well, but it was
just
it was more
showing where the trail of the ships were, like the little skitter things.
I was gonna say like,
It's like,
I get what
yeah.
you're saying, but like there were no infantry troop besides some rebels in the trench.
Yeah, but I know I'm. It's to cover them. It's to make it harder to see them
Yeah,
while they're
but
going
I
out.
don't know.
No, I know. I just think
The
it
battle
was a
wasn't
cool,
all that
different.
big.
Yeah.
It was still an interesting thing. It was interesting.
Yeah,
I just-
absolutely.
It was
And the way the
it
guy
was
goes,
also-
"Huh, it's salt."
It was also classic Star Wars where like there's just like never cover in Star Wars.
I know.
Nobody takes cover
Yeah.
ever, which is kind of a disappointment. Like all of Clone Wars, they are literally standing in the open and
Yeah.
just like shooting at
Yeah.
each other, and you're like,
What's
there's
going
not a
on?
trench or a rock. Like nobody wants to take cover. Like this is crazy. Like
you're
there's
fighting
the trenches
and
in
you're fighting droids.
sure
like,
and Hoth and stuff, but
Yeah.
other than that, like you got nothing. I don't know. Like there's just never cover, and people aren't taking cover.
And I think before we get to the final scene, when Finn is going at the battering ram cannon,
Yeah.
and fucking Rose hits him. And
I
then
love that.
I didn't like that at all.
And then they crash.
Because
she just
he was dead.
She just pecks him on the lips.
I thought he should have died. I thought he should have died right there.
Right. Agreed. Yep.
It would have been a good ending for him. Like,
but then she was like, it's.
Dude, and that's the worst writing.
That fucking writing.
No, that was rough. Yeah.
That was. Yeah. And she kisses him.
It was Battlefront 2. Gooch, I know you haven't played Battlefront 2's campaign.
I didn't. Did you finish the new stuff?
It's not even a spoiler. It's just like, the writing, like a forced. Connection between two people, yes.
No,
and Finn, you could tell Finn was just mad about it.
But I think that's what sort of made it work. That he was like, I didn't feel
this
that.
person for a few hours.
Yeah.
Wait.
And
so
now
what is the line?
What
is the line she says? Because it's so bad.
What if he was like?
It was bad.
What is she?
But you can tell he was like, I wasn't.
What did she say
thinking
exactly?
about that? I can't remember.
Wait, what did she say?
We got to save each other to win the rebellion.
It's not about saving something. It's about
saving people. Or like,
love.
It's like fuck you.
We got to stop saving like.
It's like, do you know what war is? Like, come on. Like,
I went in thinking I wasn't gonna like her character. Like once I found out that she was gonna be a character,
she was such a shitty character.
I tried.
Honestly, Jar Jar was better.
No, there were.
Oh man, that's like the ultimate Star Wars letdown.
I don't even know.
Jar Jar was better.
That's the
dude. At least,
well, guys, I'll see you later.
At least, okay. Jar Jar's bad in like episode 1, but at least he like in 1, 2, and 3, like I don't know.
I don't think she's that terrible, but I do. I liked the way that they played it. That Finn did want to sacrifice. Like he had full intentions.
And it would have been awesome
doing it.
You know,
but I actually really like. His storyline wasn't the strongest, but I like Finn. I like what's his name as Finn.
Yeah,
and I would like to see. I think in this movie they were just like, all right, what are we gonna do with Finn?
Finn wasn't.
Like, I don't know. I almost think they should have just kept him on ice.
Finn's character
in his bactitude for the whole time.
I'm wondering if Disney literally just has a check mark of like which type of like people we need
in each
movie. They definitely do.
Movie.
I'm telling you, they do.
I really think they do.
Yeah.
Well, no,
we need a female lead. You know, we need an African American character. We need an Asian like. Whichever, like
that's fun. That's
if you need that,
that's really
make
not.
Poe's character and like
don't,
why?
I don't even think it even
force a character.
Exactly.
It's not even like that. Yeah.
You should be casting characters.
You feel like you're
whatever.
You're trying to
be like
don't create a role just to make it be there. I get
for like social commentary for 2017. Like who fucking cares?
I don't even think it.
The fact that Rey is the main character, I don't give a shit that she's a girl. She just happens.
She's just an awesome character.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
She are like.
I just like her a lot. Yeah.
And that's what I.
That's the thing. Make interesting characters.
Yes.
Yeah. And even I know Benicio del Toro's character wasn't the strongest.
Pretty underutilized.
But I thought it was
lame.
a fine way to illustrate like how there is like people on both sides. Like I'm just doing shit to get by. I can care less about the Empire.
And then he shows you this dude's ship is like, yo, he's selling weapons.
Oh, he's selling ties. But would you look at that? There's an X-wing on there too, and like I didn't hate that stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of like what I was meaning about this movie's sort of touching on like it's not all good, not all evil.
Yeah, there's gray.
Really can't. Yeah, there's like.
But then Rose is like, this planet's full of people who make money off war. And I'm like, can you shut up? Like really? Like that's not true at all, bro.
I mean, no, that is. I think that was. I thought that. I didn't absolutely hate that stuff. I thought there was just so much needless CGI and bullshit going on. But like, just what we're getting to get there is like, what? Why don't?
It was a cool world when they first showed it in the casino and everything, and then she just had to come in and ruin it and just be like, on it. No, it's bad because this, and you're like, I don't know. You're just like, come on. Just enjoy the freaking thing. Like, I don't know.
I like the guard designs. The casino.
No. Oh yeah, I like their helmets and the security guards.
And then their weapons are the same as the stormtroopers. Did you notice that?
Yeah, and we get some new first order troopers, like the one with the black part on his head.
Yeah, I think that's just like a commander.
The executioner. When he walks up, he has a black.
When they go to that was a cool.
You did not like
what?
After Lightspeed, they were all standing right on top of her.
Oh, they'd be fucking dead.
All right, sure, but. It rips in half. That too. But it rips in half, and now she's on the other fucking side of the
That's
hangar,
the thing, you don't...
And, like, where's the executioner and all of the troops fell? Like, what?
Except our two
why are our two main characters the ones that wake up? You know, like, it just was kind of poor writing at that point. Again.
All right. Last scene.
So this one, are we talking with Luke?
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
And with
So like, this one, I did a little bit of research on because I was curious. I wanted to see if this took precedent in any other like Star Wars story.
What do you mean?
What Luke does. So Luke, basically, he astral projects himself.
Some Doctor Strange shit going on.
Yeah, onto Crate because people were like, well, why didn't he just go there himself? He doesn't have a ship to go there. He can't get off the.
Real quick, the one thing I noticed was like, yo, his hair color literally changed.
Well, that's the thing. I was like, what's going on? He looks like the young Luke from the back
and
flashback. Sorry.
Yeah, and people were also saying I didn't notice. That's why I have to see the movie again. Yeah. People were saying when he walked, there was no red on the
yeah, that's what I heard too.
He never picked up any.
Oh, I didn't even notice
his footsteps were just nothing was happening.
That's a good little detail.
Yeah, no, that is, and like I knew something was up from the beginning. Like you said, like he looked different. He had darker hair. I was like, "That is this Luke?" And then especially,
I would have made myself look like 18 or something.
Yeah, totally.
So if we're changing how we're gonna look,
age him, yeah,
come back 18.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Mark Hamill?
And he walks out and he's like, he does this whole scene with Leia. So did you guys like that scene? That interaction?
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't think
it was like again though like it like it started off with comedy, right? Like her response like oh, I changed my hair, like, you know, instead of like.
And I think that was a fine place for it because like I
think that joke was alright.
That's very
okay, but like
that's a very Star Wars joke
Leia's
in my
hair
opinion.
is very iconic.
Yeah.
That's I
was fine.
That joke was alright.
It was kind of like a nervous joke because
like
they're about to die.
Yeah,
that's the way I took it. It was
I
just
agree.
like a try and ease the tension of the moment. We might die in a sec.
But it's also like this is like my brother that I haven't seen in like what. How many years?
Yeah.
Totally.
30, 20, 30, something like that.
Something like because I think he disappears right after he loses Kylo or Ben, I should say.
Benny ass.
Well, Ben. Well, Ben was how old by the time? So
like teens. Yeah.
So like 18 years. Force Awakens takes place 30 years after 6. He's like 18 by the time, so maybe like 12 years.
Yeah.
Probably like 12 years.
Mm-hmm. I'd say he's mid-20s in this. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
What was I about to say?
Talking about
Luke. So
yeah.
He walks out onto the battlefield and Kylo is like, fire everything. And this is I actually really like the scene for him because it just shows you how messed up he's been by both his teachers. Like he hates Luke so much he can't even see past the fact like that he made a mistake. Maybe he can't even begin to think about like when he interacts with him later. He's like, "What, did you come to say you're sorry?" or something like that. And you just see his fucking like rage, like kill him. Just I don't even want to go out and face him. Just fucking pound him. Hux has to stop the whole fight.
And then when he comes out,
you know, I'm kind of wondering what like. So Luke is just saying he saw darkness in him and was like, "This could turn bad. I have to kill it." So, why is there darkness in him to begin with?
Snoke, because he was already at that point. He was already being.
Plus, he's a Skywalker.
Snoke was but Snoke was having his claws in him by that time. He knew. Yeah, he says that he knew Snoke had been getting to him.
He does,
and that he sensed what was happening. He had this vision of what could come, and then he had that thought to do it, and he ignited the lightsaber. But then he said the moment.
All right. Hear me out. Mm-hmm. If Luke knows about Snoke, and I know we have a resistance going and stuff, like, why aren't we trying to cut this thing off at the head before it gets bigger than it has become already? You let them build a planet that size cannon that wipes things out, like, that had to take a while, right? Like, so, like, they carved into a planet.
I don't know, man. Weak tops.
A whole weapon system.
Yeah, so, like, we've known about this for a while. How long has the Resistance been fighting the First Order? I would like to know.
Yeah. And that's the thing with Snoke. Like, you don't know, like, they kind of set it up to be, like, maybe he was someone that was close to them. Maybe he was another teacher that he thought was a friend, and then he started to realize that Snoke was getting at him, and he could feel all the rage and anger growing in him, and he went to do that. Like, we see the whole scene. But, no, I agree. That's the thing. Snoke, we don't know much about. And, I mean, thing back to Empire, we didn't really know much about the Emperor by the end of it. Yeah. Like, we didn't even know his name was Emperor Palpatine.
We thought Vader was his own boss.
Yeah.
Before we even saw, you know.
So, I think they didn't have to give us this over explanation of who he is and what he has done, but I would have liked a little bit more.
Something. And you know there will be.
There'll be expanded stuff, and
there
where
will be.
Totally.
But as for now, you know, we have no answers.
No. Yeah. No, we don't.
Yeah.
So Luke's out on the battlefield. Kylo has the interaction with him, and we find out that Luke isn't actually there. He uses this astral projection thing, and basically this takes all of it out of him, and he dies.
He disappears.
He fades, just like Obi-Wan, just like Yoda. And I actually really, at least just the way it was shot, love that scene. You get the cliff set. You see the two suns like on Tatooine, and it's just a really cool set.
Yeah, I like that.
Real quick, real pissed about that scene. You know why?
Why?
They didn't use the original binary sunset theme. They should have fucking used it, and it would have been perfect. That's where music is effective.
It was when they're on Crate, when they're on Crate and the TIEs are chasing the Falcon, and they go in and she's on the gun. They used the same music from Episode 4 when the TIEs attacked the Falcon.
Yes,
then,
but like I was looking for the when the binary sunset part of it kicks in and it's just and it's really low and that's Luke's scene when he's looking up at the sun, like it's a fucking intense.
See, I gotta go back. That's
like that. If you use that track, that would have been gold.
I saw it with Maddie, who was saying that a lot of the music carried over thematically.
Oh,
yeah.
The music, a lot of it, they
Ray's theme.
Ray's theme was
Ray's
in
theme.
it. Not a lot. I don't think there were a lot of new tracks at all.
Not really.
There was a Snoke one.
I didn't hear much change in music. Nothing that wasn't John Williams' music is already, and that was kind of disappointing.
Yeah. One thing I do want to say before I forget about it: the scene where Chewie's flying the Falcon and he goes inside Crate and is going through the crystal caves. I thought that was really.
That was cool.
That was very interesting to look at. All the red crystals and stuff. And Goose is like, I'm done.
Yeah, I was like, I'm
done. So Luke dies, and I do like that Kylo didn't literally kill him. Personally, I don't know how you guys feel about that.
See, what would you like?
What
I wanted to happen was when Rey went dark, she would have killed Luke. I think that would have been awesome.
See, but I just think no one
my brain went there.
Been rough.
My brain went there in the moment.
She was, when she was turning.
Attacks him at one point.
That's what I'm saying.
Lightsaber on him.
That's what I'm saying.
And whoa. Okay.
Yeah, what if she killed him and she went dark? That would have been an awesome story.
But then you don't have your protagonist or who's your protagonist?
Then because he switches for some reason. I don't know.
I don't think they could have gotten away with relying on Luke. I think they would have backed themselves into a weird corner if Kylo did turn. Maybe you leave Snoke alive and Kylo turns to the good side, and then they both have to face Snoke. That could work, possibly.
I still think they have written themselves a bit, not a corner, but it's getting there.
Hey man, you know how it's gonna end? Episode 9, Rey killed Kylo. That's it. Bye.
Most likely.
But I think from this, I don't think that'll happen.
What the fuck do you think is gonna happen?
I don't know. I didn't think they were gonna kill Snoke at all.
Yeah, but how else was it gonna end?
A way they could change it, which would be the best, my personal way that I thought of, is just something new. There's a new type of enemy or something, and we're left to be unsure if Kylo dies saving or turning at the last second, but I would like it to make it ambiguous. Was he trying to help, or was he turning good or not?
I think there are plenty of interesting ways to finish it off.
Because if we never really knew
what his intentions were, was he doing it for himself?
That makes for a pretty good character. Very ambivalent, but
and
keeps you guessing.
I said, that first interaction when they come back together, I think is going to be really something special. Just because when she closes the door on him at the end, and you tell he's alone. He's done. He's by himself.
Yeah.
And
we have a hard fight to top between Obi-Wan and Anakin. A 7-minute lightsaber fight.
I just watched that again today.
Because
we haven't even had a lightsaber fight in this film.
Was just gonna say we haven't had any insane lightsaber usage at all.
There was no lightsaber combat fight in this movie.
Well, not combat fight, but there's the one with the only one is when Ben and Luke clash.
I mean, a force wielder. That's not a fight.
No, but that's what I'm saying. That's the only time it happens.
Force wielder versus force wielder with a lightsaber fighting. That was not in this film.
No two lightsabers meet in this movie.
Anakin versus Obi-Wan is the pinnacle of lightsaber.
How can you have Star Wars? Now that I'm just thinking, how can you do that?
But that Praetorian Guard scene was it for me. That worked so well, and I liked how they had the gauntlets.
Doesn't have one.
Yeah. I mean, it's that. Yeah, it's a little.
There was no fight there. I don't know. I'm thinking about it, and then. There were things in Force Awakens that happened in the others, and then I don't know, maybe
I think I liked that they almost didn't have one, and that Praetorian fight, I think they did a good job with. Like I said, I almost wish that they had a tougher time with them. I didn't think Kylo was getting beat up that bad. They were working together so well that they weren't.
And he almost dies if she doesn't.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he has her on his side, so that's the only reason he's winning it. But I think they were pretty much cutting through them like butter for the most part. I would have actually liked to see Kylo get fucked up a little bit more, or even Rey. But
she does get cut.
Yeah. Oh, when he blocks, he blocks a lightsaber with his.
Point.
Yeah.
What?
When they block the lightsaber with their gauntlets too, like they have stuff like that. I really like their whole thought.
Excited to see that fight again when I see it. I am seeing.
Isn't it only Mandalorian armor that can't be cut by lightsabers?
I think it's a certain type of material or something. There's definitely someone out there. There's lore.
Well, I mean, we've seen
like
Pyro blades in Episode 3 block a lightsaber.
Grievous's
guards block Obi-Wan's attack with it.
Yeah.
And you
so
see
there are weapons that block lightsabers.
Yeah, that's not like.
You see them always going for the weak spots too. It's like the neck, the arm, like the creases in their armor where they have to hit. I really, that was good.
All right, I think we're kind of at the end here.
Yeah. But what I will say about that astral projection thing, the research I did, that does happen in more expanded universe stuff. Like people have been known to do that. But yeah, of course. But there is still precedence for that to be a thing. Is what I'm saying. It's not outside the realm of Jedi. I guess in the movies,
we don't know that if he actually astral whatever the hell that is.
Yeah.
He might be just mind tricking Kylo.
And all of them, or all of them,
actually, mind tricking Leia.
Actually, he could.
And it takes him so much, and it takes so much out of him that it literally kills him. That's.
He had to have mind controlled every, person.
But that's possible. Technically.
No, totally. So he's an illusion to.
I guess that would kill him too.
Takes so much out.
And I mean, also he, like they said before, he's been cut off from the Force forever. It's almost like maybe a bad thing to equate it to, like a drug. Like you quit it for a while, but then if you do it once, it can hit you really bad and take everything out of you.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
But when he crawls back on the Brock, I like that scene. I really did. So a lot of highs, a lot of lows. I think, as we're saying here. Various levels of enjoyment.
Honestly, this is probably one of our best reviews. I really think
there was how dynamic
a lot of different opinions on the good and the bad. I think we brought a pretty nice discussion on.
We didn't even talk. It's Poe. I just really liked his character, but I don't like his story. It was just stupid. And I was like, Haldo, why wouldn't you just tell him that's what you're gonna do?
Just tell him. Stop being a bitch.
Yeah.
Just tell him.
I don't know. Maybe, and I'm trying to think back. Maybe he wasn't giving her the chance to.
I thought
she was
that Imperial spy.
People, I've heard that.
Do you realize that there was
could be.
Well, they never found out who was spying on the ship.
Nobody's.
When they make a point to say
somebody. They were being tracked somehow.
But no, that was just their own tech.
Yeah, they just could track it somehow.
I thought somebody had planted something on the inside. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So.
Oh, by the way, those bombers, they are the most
I thought we were past that. I was going to say something after this. It makes no sense.
A bomber should not be moving slow.
I get it. There's a lot on there, more than a Y-wing has.
Especially, it's it's a T-wing. It looks like.
Still in space.
Why is it slow? Why is it so slow?
Yeah,
there's no.
Here we go. All right, you guys, here we go.
You're like, oh my god, can we put some faster engines on it or something?
Or protect it better. Know that you can. I don't know. The one thing I did like about that whole scene was that it really it fucked Poe up in the fact of he didn't even think. He's like, what? We did it. We won. And then she's like, well, look at how many fucking people died for that.
Oh,
is it really?
By the way, the resistance is this.
It's nothing.
It's
nothing.
It's
there's nothing left.
Small as a hole I can make with my hand.
Yeah.
And so are we gonna see a time jump? Because we didn't get a time jump from 7 to 8. Are we gonna get a time jump from 8 to 9? I think
we got JJ there's a time jump from 5 to 6.
There's a time jump from 1 to 2 to 3 as well.
Yes.
4.
Oh well. Yeah.
Well, totally big ones.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for a time jump because right now there's nothing.
Yeah, because the resistance is literally nothing, and even they don't have any allies.
I think
really.
we're
unless the
gonna
Outer Rim's here comes Lando in his Millennium Falcon for some reason, wearing Han Solo's clothes. It's I'm here.
Why are you wearing Han Solo's clothes?
Don't worry about it.
No, literally, go back to the scene in the movie. He's wearing Han's clothes. But I think we've covered just about everything. I really like the last scene where he's overviewing everything and he's like, I will not be the last Jedi, and it shows her lifting up all the rocks to get everyone to safety.
I like the scene, but I think it's just hypocritical that he just You know, like the reason his mind gets changed is because he sees that old tape of Leia. It's like, really?
I love that. I thought that.
It made a lot of sense, but I'm like, come on, dude. Like, you knew about that.
I forgot about that scene.
I like the way, but like the director almost even acknowledges it the way.
I really
he's like, that's a cheap shot.
I really like R2. I really like R2 scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
R2's the shit.
I thought that hologram really brought it full circle.
We still don't know why R2 doesn't turn on in episode 7, but that's all.
That's a whole nother podcast. I don't even know what. R2, what did he do?
Why?
CB3O isn't Venom C3PO anymore with his red arm.
Oh, he went back to normal.
Yeah, like what?
His normie
like
arm.
what was that? Like what was that?
He must have lost it.
They just say that he got was getting repairs.
They must.
That is all that they.
No, there's like a comic about how he loses it.
Yeah,
that you can. It's like a Marvel comic.
He loses an arm and they put a red one on him.
And they fire. Yeah.
I was also gonna say R2 is like ancient at this point.
Yeah.
Like
they both
BB-8's the new asteroid droid.
He's over 100 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
By the time this movie happens, R2 is over 100.
Dude.
It's like using a typewriter for us right now. Like,
how is he over 100 years old? By this one you're almost. Yeah, you're right because
he was made before episode 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus.
And C-3PO was made during episode 1, so C-3PO is like 50.
There's 30 between like 3 and 4, and then like yeah.
So yeah, I want to see a time jump for the next one. I want to see an in-practice Rey with a goddamn staff lightsaber. I don't want her to have students by the time.
I just want episode 9 to be like not cookie cutter and not like just something different, man.
I really do think they did do something
different in a way where like the story isn't super predictable.
I'm also happy that we have a year and a half to wait for this
100%.
next movie. Not a year and a half.
Wait, it's not coming out next year?
No, that's December 19th.
They're doing Solo first, right?
Which is in 5 months, and we have no trailer yet.
Yeah, Han Solo is this spring. We were having this conversation. I'm like Ian. I'm like, we don't have a trailer. It's gonna get delayed.
I don't think it is.
No, it's not.
How the hell do we not have a trailer for this movie?
Because they had to reshoot 90% of it.
I think they just want hype for this, and once the second that starts to die down, then we'll get our trailer.
Yeah, I agree.
And that, which I'm not really looking for.
They don't want people to like. I think they want them to just focus on this for now.
Yeah, I think that is. Yeah, they don't want to cannibalize their interest for this.
Yeah, this has been a really interesting one for me because I don't mean to bring it back to another superhero movie again, but like, do you guys feel compelled to listen to Rotten Tomatoes a lot, or do you guys just find?
No, fuck
I mean,
that.
Rotten
Tomatoes scores are. I don't think. They don't parallel with what I've been hearing from people.
So, well, no, and that's the thing. Their critic review is amazing of it, but their audience review is like 50 something.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like it's
really.
And then like you look at
it was like 93.
I just think it's funny though. Like you look at Justice League, that's like an 86 to a 90 audience score with a like a shitty with like a 5 something critic score. And I'm just like, that just it interests me.
It shows you that like critics are very hard to just please when it comes to the way something starts shitty and they just don't have it.
No, ESPN and stuff or Fox have these sports shows where they say the most ridiculous, ludicrous things. They're just saying it so that they get a name out there. And I feel like the critics are doing that, like, they want to become, like, a known critic. You're like, oh, I go to this guy for my stuff. And every once in a while, they say something outrageous where you're like, that is nuts. But then everybody knowing that they said something outrageous gets their name out there.
Yeah.
I really feel like that's what some of these critics are like. They just are...
I agree. And it
may not even be what they're truly feeling. They're just saying this just to get reads.
And it does go to, like, I'm just very interested to see how that works. It's just it's very, I don't want to say again, interesting to me. Like I don't get how that works at all.
It's probably
It's gonna go
getting to close it out.
Yeah. No, I think we basically
went 2 hours.
Yeah, well, it's good.
Jesus Christ.
Well, it didn't
go to 25. We might as well just talk for the whole length of the movie.
I actually have a whole nother thing.
We should just commentary.
All right, but Justice. No. I think that about wraps up our thoughts. Do we want to rank them? Would you rank them?
If you made a list,
I have a rank.
I have
you
a
can
rank
do it
too.
Go ahead. I don't.
Interested
I don't
in
want
that
to.
real quick.
I don't want to.
List it off real
And
quick.
this is totally personal to me.
And
this isn't like, because a lot of people are always like, well, Empire's obviously the best just because it's technically, but like I'm going off of how I enjoy
feel
them.
as well. And honestly, this could change tomorrow morning because I made a list and then I made another list and I was like, actually now thinking about that movie. So I'm going.
Yeah, I've
starting with A New Hope, the original 4. I like that better than Empire, but Empire comes in at second. We got Return of the Jedi third. Rogue One as my fourth.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're going Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
Last Jedi, Force Awakens, Attack of the Clones, Phantom Menace.
Wait, you liked Last Jedi over Force Awakens?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought we saw more scenes that weren't cookie cutter.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have a long list.
I don't either.
What is it? Revenge of the Sith. Definitely my favorite.
Really?
It was just the most memorable.
No, dude, I love that.
Like, you know, it's in like
especially
what,
at
12,
that time,
13 years old, and like, you know,
that
I
end
followed
scene,
up with
man.
the Star Wars. Yeah, that was definitely had the heaviest impact.
But that's just number one. And
yeah, absolutely.
All right, all right. Well, mine. This is my latest one. I've actually done a few reworking too, but Return of the Jedi is number one for me. Goes Last Jedi, Empire, A New Hope, The Force Awakens, Revenge of the Sith, Rogue One, Phantom Menace, and Attack of the Clones.
You got a weird list.
That is very.
That's strange.
I have not heard a list like that.
Phantom Menace over Clone Wars?
Nothing happens in Attack of the Clones.
I just think it's a good movie.
I don't think it is at all.
Don't you like Coruscant?
I hate coarse sand. I despise sand, actually. But no, I just think, literally, like, when you look at, like, talking about nothing happening in a Star Wars movie, go rewatch Attack of the Clones.
I disagree, but that seemed... that.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah,
another time.
And like I don't know, Phantom Menace. I there's a few things in it where I'm like, oh, I like that. Everyone always says it, like the pod racing and stuff.
I
Like
think
that.
the pod racing is good in Phantom Menace.
Cool.
I mean, Qui-Gon is just the.
It's quite exactly.
I really would have loved
Flamo.
I really would have loved for Canto Bite to be pod racing.
Same.
Even if
that
it's
would
not
have
a pod
been-
racing scene, but maybe
You
like
see
a
it,
quick.
you see the
yes,
track. Yeah,
if we
yeah.
could see pod races instead of these horses and some PETA animal rights thing coming in on us of don't whip animals, then I would have enjoyed that more.
Fair enough. No, I agree. No, it was very tugging on.
He's
like,
right.
He's like,
He's right.
No. I see what they were going for there, but they did overly like just try and harp on it in just not the right way. I like I said, I like the idea that they're trying to convey that people need this hope out in the galaxy, and that the rebels and the rebellion do this, or they're not the rebellions anymore. But yes, I think that about wraps us up. I'm just gonna drone on and on if I keep going.
Yeah, go for it.
Thank you guys for watching. You can find us on Facebook if you're watching here, facebook.com/Delco Nerd Network. Twitter and Instagram @Delco Nerds, youtube.com/Delco Nerd Network. For Ian, for Gooch, for Tim, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it.